Welcome to your Uncle Joe's Garage, outfitted by California Car Cover. I would be the Tio Jose, and our good friend Billy Gardell is here. Comedian, actor, hot rod addict.
Yeah, man. All those things. And fan of Uncle Joe Benson.
Thank you. Then
forever,
you can stay longer.
Forever and ever, yes. The kissing up will start early. That's a good man right there.
The show is kind of about cars. And
right on.
You've had, you got a 56 Chevy?
I got a 56 Chevy Bel Air, 389, one-belt kit, board-out heads, double Hollies, Corvette suspension.
Sweet.
Had to put disc brakes on it so I could stop it.
Now, tell me, I can stop it.
Well, it had drums on it before.
Well, yeah,
you got to stop about 500 yards out before you.
And then pray like hell. I think we've mentioned this before that Tim Allen got a hot rod. I think it was a Bucket T when his show was doing well.
Right.
And the first thing he did as soon as he got the car was driving the Disney lot, hit the gas and one of those speed bumps and ripped the oil pan off. You haven't had any experiences like that, have you?
No, what I did was, what my favorite thing to do was there's always a pocket of executives' cars on the Warner Brothers lot.
Yes.
And it's BMWs and, really high-end stuff. And then I like to come in with the hot rod, get close, and let those pipes work until the alarm systems go off. Now they know it's me.
Oh, no. Well, thank God you signed up for another year.
Yeah,
Because
exactly.
they can't. What was your first car? How'd you start?
My first car was a $300 rusted out AMC wagon.
Well, you don't have to say rusted out because AMC wagon will be rusted anyway.
It was so bad. It was the back wheel, the back left wheel wobbled and fell off.
Sweet.
Fell off, so me and some buddies took the license tags off it and then called it, and they took it away to scrap it. But it was in the middle of a street with one of the wheels about 50 yards behind me. That was my first car. And then my second car was a Sunbird that the shocks on the right side were busted, so I was just driving around like this, which was kind of funny because it was a fat guy in the driver's seat, but this side of the car tilted, so it didn't really make sense, so I kind of like that.
Physics.
And then I got my favorite car when I first went on the road as a comic. I bought a 19, in Florida, I started in Florida, and you could always get a big land yacht in Florida because an older retired couple who drove it to the store and back, and the guy who just checked the oil every 20 minutes because he was hiding from his wife. Yeah. Low mileage, big cars. Back then, gas was $1 a gallon.
Yep.
So I bought a 1984 Delta 88, and it was a Brougham, 4 doors. It was a rolling couch, and I drove that car for about 280,000 miles all over the country.
Wow.
Yeah, my favorite car to this day.
That was like a king-size bed in the back seat.
Yeah, man, it was great because as a road comic, it was great because you could fit everything. You had the trunk that would fit 4 bodies, so you could put, your records and your hot plate and your clothes wherever you were on the road. It was like that was your mobile touring unit, and it was great. All the comics from Florida in that day had big cars like that. We had bought them.
You've opened for a lot of great comedians as you
Yes.
were coming up. Mm-hmm. George Carlin comes to mind.
Yeah, that was what a tremendous honor. I was about 19 years old or something, somewhere in there, 18 to 20. And what happened was I was one of the local guys, and his opening act got food poisoning. They called the club and said, I need a guy that's a funny guy, but that's a good guy, and bring him over and he can open for George. And I got to go over there, and I did my little 15 minutes, which I think I just sped through it because I was so nervous. I was talking like that. But I came off stage, and he was super kind, and I talked to him after the show, and I said, can you give me any kind of advice? And he said, always write about what's going on in your life. That way your act never gets old. And I said, well, what if nothing's going on? He said, then get busy living. And he walked away. It was like talking to the Jedi Council. It was like, okay, I got it. So it was very cool. Very cool. Big honor.
A couple other names.
Yes.
Jackie Gleason has played a part in your life.
Gleason, my dad turned me on to The Honeymooners when I was about 9 years old, and I always thought if I ever got on television, I want to do that. And here I am in a blue shirt uniform, reacting to somebody crazy. So it's wonderful,
John Candy have any effect on you?
Absolutely. John Candy, I always like, and I know they're all big guys, but you kind of gravitate to who you are and see, take from that. And John Candy, what I always loved about him is you could see his heart. Especially in any of the John Hughes films, Uncle Buck, or Planes, Trains, and Automobiles was the apex for me. But you could always see his heart. He was super funny, but there was a lot of heart under there. And I think I kind of more identify with him even than I do Gleason.
Richard Pryor.
Pryor, to me, was the guy that could write about anything painful and make it funny. In fact, I always tell young comics, if you want a book on comedy, get Prior Convictions, because it's the most brilliant example of stand-up comedy I've ever seen. It's not a how-to or anything like that. You just simply see his thought pattern, because in regular print, you see the painful event that happened in his life. And then in italics underneath it, you see the joke that came from it. So to me, it's a brilliant blueprint for stand-up comedy.
Did you ever cross paths with John Belushi?
No. No, I love Belushi. You know, I was a fan of all those movies, the Blues Brothers and Saturday Night Live, of course, when I was a kid. And no, I never got to meet him. I did get to meet Jim Belushi once up at a CBS thing, and he was really cool. And I said, you know, I stole so much stuff from your brother. And he was funny because he goes, me too. It was very cool.
Billy Gardell.
I have a California car cover, by the way. I cannot recommend it highly enough. Yeah.
Well, then we have to make sure you get one of the parting gifts of the duster.
I have a duster.
You
too.
do? Okay.
What do you think? You're dealing with a rookie here? Come on. Give me another one, though, because I'll take it for the wife.
See, there you go.
She's not going to use it.
Billy Gardell, hot rod guy,
Yes.
stand-up guy,
Yes.
actor on a massive TV show. What is it like, this program that you've been on, this Mike and Molly thing, and you have this Melissa girl having these huge movies. Does her entourage come in and say, step aside, Mr.
You know,
Gardell?
man, that's the beautiful thing about her. She's a Midwest girl. She's
Yeah.
from Plainville, Illinois, or Plainviewville, Illinois, and she just gets it, man. And she is not, you know, she's had this meteor rise, you know, much like Eddie Murphy in the 80s. And yet, I got to tell you, man, she's the same girl I met when we started Mike and Molly. She's kind, she's giving, she's always there, she's a pro. She's a really good person. And that's impressive to go through all this and retain that, you know? Really is. We have a super wonderful cast on Mike and Molly, and when it's over, not one regret, man. Just the greatest group of people I could have took that journey with. And me and her kind of right away from day one kind of became the mama bear and papa bear of that stage. And I think that goes a long way, because the love really, people were unafraid to be respectful and loving with each other, and I think that's what makes great creativity. Yes. I really do. The negative stuff, you tear it down, tear it down, tear it down. After a while, people get afraid to give, and when you're afraid to give, you can't create. That's just been my experience.
Have you seen a change in your stand-up audience? Because I know you're putting together another
Of course,
show.
yeah, there's many more of them.
But are their expectations any higher, any lower? Or
I think you get like 10 minutes credit when you first walk out because you're on TV, but then you better earn your ticket price. You know, people pay $45 to $50, $60 to see you. You better bring it. That's always been my philosophy, anyway.
Okay, so Billy Gardell is suddenly a father after lots of practice trying to get there.
I don't know about lots of practice.
Yeah, suddenly he's very reserved. Your son now is he
12.
driving yet?
He's 12.
Well, yeah, almost.
We're just now at the age, which is great, and that's one of the reasons I love the hot rod, because now new cars, they come in a shell. You can't even see the engine.
Yeah, that's true.
So having the hot rod's a great moment for us, because it's not only cool and loud and fast, and that makes sense to a young boy, but like now I can take him to the gas station and we're checking the oil and the transmission fluid and our wiper fluid and our press stone, you know, and I love being able to share that with him and have that. But he's a great kid. I think he's a little more of an artist than anything else, and I'm really trying to encourage that. You know, I think he could end up being, you know, an actual painting artist or maybe an illustrator. He likes that kind of stuff, and you know, I'm really encouraging that creative vibe, because I told him, look, you find something you love, and if you can figure out a way to get paid at it, you will never work a day in your life.
Have you gotten to the point yet where you're doing things with him and you're going, geez, I wish my dad had this much fun with me?
All the time. All the time. My dad was, well, you know, he was working, you know. My parents, you know, and then even after they got divorced and there was visitation, my dad remarried, my mom remarried, it was just seemed like they were always at work. And I've been blessed enough to have a job where I work very hard, but then I can take a week and just be in his world. So that's, to me, that's precious, you know, and I really try to just check in with him. And what I tell him most of all is, you can ask me anything. Anything you want, man, I'll shoot you straight. Just make sure your mom's not around.
Yeah. There's the wisdom right there. Billy Gardell, thank you so much.
You're my man, Joe.
You're welcome back to the garage anytime.
Anytime you'll have me.
Hey, it's your Uncle Joe Benson right here in the Uncle Joe's Garage. Now, I know that you probably haven't been to the garage as of yet, but I've got some great news. We have created a mobile version of the Uncle Joe's Garage. A mobile version, thanks to our friends at Mike Thompson RV Superstores. Like they always say, don't miss a moment. And don't miss the Uncle Joe's Garage coming to a location near you.